Good evening. This is a special meeting of the Board of Trustees dated Tuesday, August 6, 2024. I'd like to call the order. Karen, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Broderick?
Present.
Trustee Harris? Trustee Mahalik?
Present.
Trustee Morales?
Here.
Trustee Queenie?
Here.
Trustee Pazinski?
Here.
Okay, Chairman, we do have a quorum.
And at this time, I'd like to address the board members in attendance. If there's any objections to the trustees who have provided notice and are attending virtually. If no objections stated, Karen, I'd like you to call the roll. Does anyone have an objection to the two people logged on remotely?
No.
Trustee Garcia Gann?
Present.
Trustee Lee?
Here.
Okay.
This time, I'd like to welcome everybody, and we're going to move to 1.1.3, the Pledge of Allegiance. Dad, Mr. Mahalik, would you like to lead it for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.2, public comments. Karen, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. Item number 2, board approval of emergency repair costs for the city center campus. I'd like the president to elaborate on the request here.
Chairman Budzinski and trustees of the board, thank you for coming together tonight to address this critical, time-sensitive need related to our city center campus. As you all will recall, on July 14th, just 3 weeks ago, our building suffered significant damage as a result of the microburst in downtown Joliet. Now, the damage to the systems and air handling in the building have been significant, so much so that we've had to move instructional activities to other locations and have moved all city center services to a virtual environment. I'm thankful for the community's understanding and support, and I want to assure them that we have worked every single day since July 14th to clean, to repair, and to improve the efficiency of the building to provide and continue to provide world-class learning experiences for our students and a safe and comfortable building for our employees and the community. Now, the item before the board tonight is indeed time sensitive, and upon your approval today, our vendor, a 15-year trusted partner of JJC, will begin work right away to repair or replace sensors, actuators, and switches as part of the city center campus building automation system. Now, while the start of the fall semester, unfortunately, the instructional activities will most likely be delayed a few weeks, the board's approval today ensures the repairs will begin promptly and the impact to some of our signature programs will be manageable. And lastly, Chairman, I want to take a moment to thank the emergency response team at JJC for coming together yet again in a time of crisis, in a time of great need, led by Dr. Farmer and Dr. Gray these past 3 weeks. They've been able to work through a number of challenges in advance of the fall semester. So just a huge shout out to our facilities and maintenance teams under Pat Van Dyne's leadership. Karen Kissel and Pat and their teams have worked on these repair efforts. So I want to extend my gratitude to them for all of their hard work. The item before the board today is option 2B, highlighted in your handouts today, and you'll see an amount of $223,000, $223,651 to repair and update the city center campus building automation system. Chairman, thank you so much. We've got some of the members of my cabinet here ready to answer any questions. Appreciate the board's support with this time-sensitive critical repair need.
At this point, before discussion, I'd like to call for a motion and a second to approve option 2B.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion.
Well, just
Ryan, I'm going to start it.
for- If I may, for the record, it's option 2B with Delta Building Technologies, the amount of $223,651.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you. Ryan?
Really, I have no questions about the repairs being done. I'm glad to see we're doing this and getting the campus open again, especially with this fall semester starting. And I know we have many students who are going to be relying on that campus for the culinary classes, the higher ed GED classes, and then just some of our basic general education classes that we have for students. So I'm really glad to see that they're getting the repairs done, and they're going to start on that soon, if bearing we get their approval for it. So, yeah.
Trustee Mahalik?
No objections to it at all. I just want to just clarify though, for financial purposes, where is the money coming from? Where are we shifting it from just reserves? Or,
Yeah, good question, Trustee Mahalik. So O&M restricted
O&M
funds,
restricted,
O&M
okay.
restricted funds, yeah.
okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
I was looking at Kissel, but she didn't want to talk to me, so.
We were
She got it.
connecting on that.
She's eating those chips back there, so that's good. No other questions, I'm good. Jay, you got any questions? No, okay. Jay has no questions either, so.
Vice Chair Morales?
Sure. I just want to say thank you again to the emergency response team. And I know it seems like a lot of money, but with the cost of materials of today's cost and labor costs, we have to keep in mind that, you know, that's why the dollar amount that we are here to approve. So, and I want to thank all the trustees that made it here on time to make this meeting happen, because we have over 2,000 students and staff at the City Center campus. And this is serious. Our responsibility is one that I take very seriously. I had a lot of important things to do, but I made sure that I prioritized this meeting and took it seriously and came in on time to make sure that, you know, our students' needs and staff's needs are being met. So thank you to everybody.
Trustee Broderick?
Couple of things.
Trustee Broderick, could you put on the microphone? Thank you.
I guess it's all switched over. Couple of things. Thank you for meeting with me yesterday, Karen and Dr. Namuo. And I had asked concerns of where the dollar amount came for the deductible. And my understanding was, because I was asking what our deductible was calculated at, and apparently it's at 1% value of the building. And it's not replacement cost, it's actual cost, from what I understand now. Actual cost?
Yeah, actual
When
cost.
was the last time we had an appraisal done on the premise?
So that's part of our annual insurance evaluation process. So Karen, you want to take that as you put a chip in your, sorry about that.
Every year, we work with our insurance broker, which is AJ Gallagher, to look at the total cost of our total valuation of our building and the contents. And the last year, they did a 3% inflation, which was customary inflation, to adjust the value of the building.
But there's no actual appraisal that's done for us to contest anything of the value. Because if it's 1%, that's almost $600,000 for a
Right,
deductible.
right.
And, I mean, I understand we've had Gallagher for a while, but I still think that we should pursue other avenues to see if there's other insurances for competitive things. Because when I have been in the commercial business, we were able to look at things. And I know wind damage, it falls under Wind Damage Act of God, but I still think we should be checking other sources too, besides Gallagher. Are we restricted to Gallagher?
We're not. So Trustee Broderick, for the last, it's 10 years now, we've had Hanover as our insurance, but that's a competitive process that happens every single year. So
Okay.
they've emerged as
Well,
most
especially when you have something
responsive,
like this
yeah.
coming up. And Jake, I'm glad you asked about the O&M, because that was my concern, was where is the money coming from to do this? Since we have the deductible of 600,000 and we're looking at 700 and, what did I say, 700 and some odd thousand of total if we get to the total part, if that's all the estimates come in.
Right.
And it is in the restricted fund, it's not in our
Yeah.
reserve at all. So that was what I was questioning, and there's 50 million sitting in there, which I'm glad to hear that we're prepared. We're not prepared, so it's proactive, so I'm good with that. So thank you both for giving me those details, I appreciate that. And then the only question I have left is this a special meeting or a emergency meeting? Because this says emergency, this says special, and there's two different types of meeting, and I don't know which one we're in.
We called it as an emergency meeting.
Well, on here it says special, and special is different than emergency.
I think it's a distinction without merit. The item being voted on is considered an emergency under the Public Community Colleges Act because you're going to enter into a contract without going through a formal bidding process. It's a special meeting of the board or an emergency meeting. It doesn't matter how you phrase it. We've complied with the requirements of Open Meetings Act. With an emergency meeting, you do not have to provide 48 hours notice.
Correct.
But with a special meeting, you do. And I
Correct.
think we meet either qualification because it's my understanding that the agenda was posted Saturday afternoon.
Okay, so maybe then we should change this to special, since we did the 48 hours, everything was in, because there is a difference between emergency and that, because we could have met within 8 hours after you announced an emergency meeting.
I don't think it has to be 8 hours. It could be within an
You
hour.
could meet, yeah, I mean, you could meet
I-
rapidly.
I don't see where you're seeing emergency meeting because on my agenda, it says special meeting.
On the agenda, on the website, it says that. I want clarification.
I don't think it matters. I think it's a distinction without merit.
It's
given-
pettiness.
Given what's been done, but
Well, okay. And then just for clarification, who called the meeting?
I did.
Next time when you do call the meeting, could you make sure all of us are aware that you're calling it? Because I saw the email that came from Dr. Namuo asking for and requesting the meeting, but I never saw any communication coming from you, which according to our policy, we're supposed to all be informed when there's a meeting being called by the chair. So if you could do that next time, I'd appreciate
I'll
it.
look and see how that meeting request went out.
You were notified. Stop being petty.
Not being petty.
Oh,
I'm
my
asking.
goodness. Okay,
Move
we're
on.
here. Let's move
Diane,
on.
do you
Thank
have any
you.
comments, questions?
No, I'm just glad that the team was on it and that we do have the resources to move forward quickly because it is an investment of ours. And the students, I overheard someone said that the enrollment has increased for that area. So we want to make sure it's ready to go. So I support it.
Trustee Garcia?
No questions at this time. I do want to acknowledge all the work that our team has put into getting the repairs, doing the cleanup really, and making sure that we're able to function as soon as possible to be able to provide the different classes and curriculum to our students. So thank you for calling this special meeting. No additional comments as of this time.
Thank you. Trustee Lee?
No questions and no comments. Thank you.
Thank you. So as a chair, I do have a couple questions. I'm looking at the add-on prices for option 2A or 2B. What exposure do we have to add-on costs?
Great question, Chairman. Karen?
With board policy, we have a 10% contingency because we can move 10%. We did have an analysis done by Delta, who looked in the building automation system to determine what was exactly needed. There might be some unforeseen conditions, but we don't believe so. So we believe that 223-651 is comprehensive. Should there be additional products or services that are required, I know that the president intends to provide a complete review with the board in the upcoming meeting, and we'll present that information to you.
So this option 2 add-on price of $29,332?
We don't believe that we'll need that.
Okay, but it's more than a 10%, so will you be coming back to us before that's agreed upon, or we're gonna let the work continue? I just don't want to be in a spot where we're halted because we're waiting for us to get together again.
Correct. I'll work with Pat to make sure that we're informed ahead of time, so whatever's needed, that we give you enough leeway to pull the board together if needed, but I hope it doesn't happen.
Okay, thank you. Any other rebuttal questions or comments before we take a vote? Okay. Karen, we're ready for the vote?
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Queenie?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia again?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Awesome.
Item number 3, the chair is requesting a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Bye.
All opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Trustees.